Yeah, yeah, yeah. So many lies that you hear from the net, they don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check. You want an unbiased opinion straight from the chest, not a bit accomplice or someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer on a mission who goes so hard it's like she works on commission. Trolls in the comments might say she tripping cause they lack the knowledge. They don't know they missing. Got a couple current events that you like. Wanna know about law from the eyes. Tired of all these blogs running lies because their agendas are disguised. Tune in to the intellect, cause I'm sure y'all missing all the facts of the case that she steady is gifting. Someone here for the people, man, it's so uplifting. If you ain't subscribed yet, then you just omitting facts.
Hello, everyone. It is Pam Esquire, also known as your law intellect. I hope you guys are having a fantabulous Monday. I'm sorry I'm late. I try to be on time, but I started finishing up something and I answered some emails and I probably shouldn't have done that. I should have just. But anyways, for those of you that are new, welcome. Thank you so much for joining our channel. If you have not subscribed, I would be so elated if you would subscribe to the channel. If you are someone that has been over here rocking with me, I appreciate all of your support. And that's that. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in. And we are here. You guys seen the title? We're talking about Cesar, Flippin' NJ, Pina, DJ Envy. I'm Flippin' NJ. That's how they used to introduce themselves on the videos when they did all that real estate stuff. Well, apparently the real estate stuff was a little scamish, okay? Allegedly, according to the feds, they said it was a tad bit scamish. And so about 2 years ago, for those of you that have been following me for a while, I'm going to make sure that I link that video on the end of this video for those that have no idea what I'm talking about. I actually did a video of Cesar Pina, who was the business partner of DJ Envy from the Breakfast Club. And I did a video because there was a complaint filed. And the complaint was basically alleging a bit of a scam. However, it was an agent who applied to it. So it wasn't in front of a grand jury. So while this case has been going on, he's been out on bond. While this case has been going on, a lot has been happening. So the case has been proceeding. There's been a lot of adjournments over the last year and a half or so. And then on July 7th, there was an indictment. So they added that to the roster. So they indicted him on more charges, and it was just unsealed, I think, on Friday. Now, a couple of weeks prior to that, his wife, Jenny, she was a part of, I guess, some of this real estate stuff. There was I don't know if it was a complaint or an indictment, but she has some charges that were levied against her. I have to find it because I just start reading stuff and forget it, but it's been a little minute since I saw that. It was an indictment, and it was Jennifer Pina, who aka Jenny, aka Jenny Tips. Now that's Cesar's wife. And that was June 27th of 2025. She had an indictment, and I didn't even read the whole thing. I probably should look that up too. And that was also in New Jersey. And they basically, the beginning of it has, because I just kind of looked at the beginning of Jennifer's was knowingly altered, destroyed, mutilated, concealed, and covered up a record, document, or tangible object with the intent to impede, obstruct, or influence a matter within the jurisdiction of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. They alleged that she destroyed an Apple iPhone 15 Pro cellular telephone assigned international mobile equipment identity number, and they got the number, and telephone number ending in, they got the number, which contained evidence of a matter under investigation. Now, that was the first part. Now, I just read the first page of this indictment, and they do have DJ, and you guys are going to see. it looks like they're inferring individual number one, but they ain't say he was a co-conspirator or anything. But he's just in there as individual number one. So we about to go over that. We're gonna start right now because without further ado. And so this is it. This is the indictment that was just filed on July 7th. And counts 1 and 2, wire fraud. This is the background of relevant parties. Defendant Cesar Pina, aka Flippin' NJ. Pina resided in New Jersey and held himself out to be a real estate investor and developer. Individual 1, Pina's business partner, was a well-known disc jockey and radio personality who resided in New Jersey. Victim 1 resided in New Jersey. Victim 2 resided in New Jersey. Warehouse LLC was a New Jersey limited liability company that Pina controlled. From Start to Flip LLC, aka From Start to Flipping LLC, was a New Jersey limited liability company that Pina controlled. They have another LLC, 383-391 Taiwan Avenue. So that's probably the name of the properties. That was the LLC of which Pina controlled. The scheme to defraud. From in or around 2017 through in or around 2024, in the District of New Jersey and elsewhere, the defendant Cesar Pina, aka Flippin' MJ, did knowingly and intentionally devise and intend to devise a scheme and artifice to defraud investors and to obtain money and property from them by means of materially false and fraudulent pretenses, representations, and promises as set forth below. This is the goal of the scheme. This is all allegedly. He is innocent. Y'all know what it is. He is innocent. There's a presumption of innocence, and so proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. But this is what the government is alleging. The goal of the scheme was for Pina to enrich himself and his associates by soliciting and obtaining millions of dollars of victims' investors' funds through false and fraudulent pretenses, representations, promises, and the concealment of material facts. This is the manner and the means of the scheme to defraud. It was part of the scheme to defraud that starting as early as in or around 2017, Pina began soliciting and obtaining investments from individual investors, the victims, for the alleged purchases, renovations, and sale of specific real estate projects in New Jersey and other states. Pina and Individual 1 operated a company that conducted real estate seminars around the country. In real estate seminars, private one-on-one sessions, advertisement, public appearances, social media postings, and other oral and written communications, Pina represented that he was a highly successful real estate investor, owned thousands of properties in multiple states, and had business relationships with various celebrities. Through these efforts, Pina developed a significant following that included hundreds of thousands of social media followers, which he used to solicit investors for his companies. Pina generally executed contracts with the victims that specified, among other things, the purpose of the investment, promised interest payments, and the time frame for repayment. Many of these contracts specifically stated that the victim's money would be used for the purchase, remodel, and sale of a particular real estate property named in the contract. Pina also falsely represented in written and oral communications with prospective investors that their funds would be used for such purposes. In reality, Pina used money from victims for other purposes, including to pay for personal and unauthorized business expenses and to pay off other investors in a Ponzi-like manner. Pina also failed to disclose material information about the properties the victims were purportedly investing in, including that Pina was obtaining other loans and or investments for the same properties. So he allegedly would get these properties and sell it to you. I mean, not sell it to you, but have you invest in it. But he had other people investing in the same exact property, getting loans from other people against the same house. Material misrepresentations and omissions about the properties. Pina often concealed from victims that Pina already owned the property they were investing in, that Pina had already obtained a mortgage or other loan on the property they were investing in, and or that Pina had obtained and or would obtain investments from other victims for the same property. Due to these and other material misrepresentations and omissions, Pena often obtained multiple times the value of a specific property, including the two properties described below, from victims and their resources. We got the Manchester Avenue property. Make sure y'all hit the like button on your way in and subscribe to the channel, okay? On or about April 4th, 2019, Pena used warehouse purchase to purchase a property located on Manchester Avenue in Patterson, New Jersey. This is property one, for approximately $140K from at least in or around July 2019 through in or around April 2023. Pena solicited and received investments from numerous victims for the purported purchases, renovations, and sale of property one. Pena concealed from those victims, among other things, that he had already owned the property. That he had already had obtained a mortgage on property one, and or that he had obtained and would or obtain money from other victims to invest in property one. As a result, Pena fraudulently obtained investments from victims grossly exceeding the purchase price of property one and potential costs of renovating and, quote, flipping the property. They said, for example, in or about August 2022, victim one entered into a contract with From Start to Flipping. Pursuant to the contract, victim one agreed to make a capital contribution of approximately $100K to enter into a joint venture for the purchase, remodel, and sale of property one. The contract further stated that Pena will return victim one's capital contribution within 5 months, plus an interest payment of approximately $30K. That's a good investment there, amounting to approximately 30% return on the investment. Among other things, Pena fraudulently failed to disclose to victim one that Pena already owned property one, that he had already had a mortgage on property one, and that he had obtained and would obtain other victims' investments for property one. In or around August of 2022, in reliance on Pena's false and fraudulent misrepresentations and omissions, victim wired Pena approximately $600,000 for investment in property one and two other properties. I would have punched him in his mouth. This is all alleged, but you take 600,000. I was mad at the 100,000. You talking about 600,000? Boop! What? You just go take my 600K, and then you standing next to DJ Envy on all these videos talking about, I'm DJ Envy, flipping in J. What? This is all alleged, though. Jakayla said, also remember when DJ Envy first started pushing his real estate classes while Char was pushing the Ancestry DNA, and Yee had her juice bar with Envy. That is true. He was on there talking about the different seminars and stuff on the radio. But anyways, yeah, he deserved 2-piece on that one. Next, in around October 2022, we on victim number two, signed a contract with Pena in which victim two agreed to make a capital contribution of approximately $400K. These big boy numbers. This is like retirement, going in your retirement fund money. Approximately $400K to enter into a joint venture for the purchase, remodel, and sale of property one and one other property. The contract further stated that Pena will return victim two's capital contribution within 5 months, plus an interest payment of approximately $120,000, amounting to an approximately 30% return on investment. Among other things, Pena fraudulently failed to disclose to victim two that Pena had a mortgage on property one and had obtained and would obtain other victims' investments for property one. In or around October 2022, in reliance on Pena's false and fraudulent misrepresentations and omissions, victim two wired Pena approximately $400K for investments in property one and in one other property. To date, Pena has not paid victim one, victim two, and other victims, most of all, of the principal and interest owed to them for the property one investments. So this is part of what made it really look bad to me for DJ Envy, because it's similar to the Jennifer Williams situation. How when people see you connected to certain caliber of people, there's an assumption that you hang around certain people. The people you hang around are going to be legit. So I get emails all the time for people that's like collabing. They want me to up their products. They want me to sell their products, promote their products. And the reason why I've been very, very skeptical about it is because I don't want that falling back on me. It has to be something I know I use. Like if it's something I use on a regular basis, okay, that's something different. If it's something that I made myself, like my own t-shirts, that's something totally different. But when you go vouch for people and you don't really know who they are, and what they're doing, you're taking a risk to be connected. That's not to say that you knew anything or knew anything about it. I'm not trying to, throw any shade at anybody, but you got to be careful. So you standing there being a prominent public figure, you standing there DJ Envy next to him would make people feel like it's like a trust factor. And he wasn't the only celebrity. Like when you look on Jennifer's Instagram, we look back then, his wife, there were other celebrities that were standing next to her. So that type of image, and that's the point of a lot of it. It's a marketing ploy because you're like, oh, if he's saying he made a quadrillion dollars, then I could make a quadrillion dollars too. And it gives some type of, we're all, I think, by nature, a little skeptical at a lot of stuff, especially a 30% return. But if you get someone that's kind of vouching for the person, you're like, why would they scam me? Why would they want to risk their reputation by being associated with a scammer? So that's why you have to be very, very careful in these type of situations. Okay. Yeah, all money ain't good money, Gwen. I ignore a whole lot because I don't know. I have to know myself. I ain't saying I would never collab. I'm just saying I would have to like literally know for myself. Because again, I don't want to be individual one. Okay, I don't want to be individual one in nobody's indictment. I don't even care if it's inferred. They be like individual one had a YouTube channel of which she described herself as the law intellect. I don't want that in. I don't want that to happen to me. I don't. Okay. I'm glad too, Veronica. I'm glad you over here too. I know it's not really that early, but I know a lot of you are at work. So thank y'all so much for joining. And I ask that you please hit the like button. You said Mrs. Jones said I attended the LA real estate seminar. The info provided was extremely helpful. No pressure, just plenty of great info and advice. Bought my first investment property. So it worked out for Mrs. Jones. Mrs. Jones, they might need you over here in this case. All right. So in this indictment, it has the attorney's information. They might need you. They might need you in this case because it sounds like, well, the seminars may be different too, that you didn't invest in any properties, and they're saying they invested in properties of which he owned or he allegedly had mortgages on. So maybe the seminars was decent. Okay. Maybe it was working out and they was giving legit information as long as you knew not to actually submit your money to them and you probably found your own investment property. So it may have worked out for you. But according to this, they're alleging that there's some people that's out of 600,000, some people out of 400,000, and it didn't work out for them. But we glad, Miss Jones, that it did not happen to you. We really are. Because some people allegedly don't have your testimony. A lady 747 wants to know, Mrs. Jones, was it a free seminar and was Pina there? Let us know. Let us know. Now we on to the Park Avenue property. On or about November 14, 2018, Pina used warehouse to purchase a property located on Park Avenue in Patterson, New Jersey, which is property number 2, for approximately $225K. All right. Let me see. I'll wait and see if you respond to the question, Mrs. Jones. From at least in or about January 2021 through in or around March 2023, Pina solicited and received investments from numerous victims for the purchase, renovation, and sale of property too. Again, Pina concealed from these victims, among other things, that he had already owned property too, that he had already obtained a mortgage on property too, and or that he had obtained and would obtain money from other victims to invest in property too. As a result, Pina fraudulently obtained investments from victims, grossly exceeding the purchase price of property too, and the potential cost of renovating and flipping the property. Gotta watch some of these animals in this here backyard. You know what I'm saying? I don't even see where the ducks or the geese are. I guess they said it's too hot to be coming out here today. Okay. For example, victim one signed a contract with from start to flipping in or about August 2022. Concerning an investment in property two, the contract provided that victim one would make a capital contribution of $250K to enter into a joint venture for the purchase, remodel, and sale of property two. Pina further promised to repay victim one's capital contribution within 5 months, plus approximately $75K in interest. Now, these prices, I know I could see them being a little, enticing. You get 30%. That's a nice look, especially if it's money you wasn't using nowhere. You like, okay, I'll give it to them, make money off of it. That's higher than anything I would get just as sitting in a bank or me trying to, do some stocks and bonds or something. Let's see, Mrs. Jones. Thank you, Lisa, so much for the super chat. Okay, let's see. Mrs. Jones said the seminar was $99, lasted around 4 hours. Pina, Envy, and their wives, real estate attorneys, mortgage brokers were all there. Okay. Does that answer your question? So she's saying she had a great experience with the seminar and that it was worth the $100. She was able to get into real estate because of the seminar. And so that's her experience with the seminars. Now, what we're talking about now is, I guess, people choosing. I guess there is, and Mrs. Jones, you can correct me if I'm wrong. From my understanding, there's supposed to be like a portion of which they actually offer you the ability to invest in properties, and you can choose whether you want to do it or not. So I don't know if these happened at this seminar where they was offering people and they was like, okay, because they got the good information, like what you're saying. Perhaps they said, well, I'm going to go with this, and I got 600,000 that I just got, sitting up in my retirement. So I'm going to try to make 30% on it. So was it where they also offered at those same seminars the ability to invest in properties that the feds is now saying Pina already owned, had mortgages on, and was basically marketing the same property to other people, is what they're alleged. $99 is, it's not. You said I wouldn't pay it. Dang, Southwest. Danielle says, so like an information session with other resources. That's what it sounds like, which a lot of places have to have a broker and an attorney and all of that. So was the attorney there if they actually were trying to do deals? I mean, that would be their attorney though, so I wouldn't use them, but I'm trying to understand where the attorneys and stuff fit in. Joanne said, DJ Envy is getting nervous because he knew once they finished with the diddler, his case was next. I don't even know what you're talking about, Kathy. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on. So we're talking about victim one, $250K to enter into a joint venture for the purchase, remodel, and sell property two. Pina further promised to repay victim one's capital contribution within 5 months, plus approximately $75K in interest, amounted to approximately 30% of return on investments. Pina made misrepresentations and concealed material information from victim one, including, among other things, that he already owned property two, already had a mortgage on property two, and had obtained and would obtain other victims' investments for property two in around August 2022 in reliance on Pina's false and fraudulent misrepresentation and omissions. Victim one wired Pina $600K. So this is the same one we talked on the other property to invest in property two and 2 other properties. To date, he has not paid victim one and other victims most or all the principal or interest from the property two investment. Okay. Tracy said Bishop Whitehead also offered classes. He did. But, well, I don't know. I only heard one person talk about it, and I don't know if they are if they would be considered a person that you could rely on. But yeah, I don't know what he actually offered. So yeah, did y'all? Yeah, please make sure you hit that like button. All right, let's go on. We're trying to get through this. It's a few pages here. Pina misappropriated investor money to keep his scheme from unraveling. Pina misappropriated victims' fund to make payments to other investors in a Ponzi-like manner. Pina concealed the Ponzi payments from victims and prospective investors by, among other things, failing to disclose that their money would be used to pay off other investors, and by failing to disclose to investors that some of their payouts were derived from other investors' money rather than from legitimate investment returns. Pina and his associates also misappropriated victims' funds for personal expenses, including luxury clothing, vacations, luxury vehicles, and beauty supplies, and to pay for business expenditures unrelated to the purpose of the victims' investments. Pina has still not paid dozens of victims, most of all of their promised principal and interest, resulting in millions of dollars of losses. So now we're going to talk about the execution of the scheme. Y'all ready? For Always Forever said, I really feel that DJ Envy didn't know what Pina was doing, and he defended that man, and I was caught up in looking dumb and feeling dumber. Yeah, this is what happens when you vouch for people you really don't know. That's why I'm not a proponent of getting online, windmilling for people I don't know, because I don't know. There's certain people I know where I can say, I don't think that's who they are. But there's just certain people that I don't know. Like, I don't know. It could be somebody that hates a person. You know what I'm saying? And they may be getting them involved for various reasons. You just don't know the entirety of the circumstances sometimes to be, especially when it comes to vouching for people on taking people's money. So yeah. Brina said, did they ever hear of Bernie Madoff? How did they think this was going to end differently for them, allegedly? I don't know, but if you haven't, go watch American Greed, okay? Because they definitely got some Bernie Madoff on there. Execution of the scheme on or about the date set forth below for the purpose of executing and attempting to execute the scheme and artifice to defraud in the District of New Jersey and elsewhere. The defendant did transmit and costs transmitted by means of wire, radio, and television communication and interstate commerce. The following writings, signs, signal, pictures, and sounds, so each constituting a separate count of this indictment. So they got the wire transfer from victim one of $600K, which was allegedly on August 29, 2022. They got the interstate wire that passed through New Jersey at for $400K by victim two, allegedly. October 5th, 2022, which is in violation of Title 18 USC 1343 in Section 2. Count 3 is conspiracy to launder monetary instruments. They're saying Cesar did knowingly combine, conspire, and agree with others to knowingly conduct and attempt to conduct financial transactions affecting interstate and foreign commerce, which transactions involve the proceeds of specified unlawful activity. That is, that manufacture, importation, and distribution of a controlled substance, knowing that the transactions were designed in whole or in part to conceal and disguise the nature, location, source, ownership, and control of the proceeds of specified unlawful activity. What is happening here? And knowing that the property involved in the financial transactions represent the proceeds of some form of unlawful activity, contrary to Title 18 USC 1956. The allegations set forth in paragraph 1 of counts 1 and 2 of this indictment are re-alleged here. So that's from allegation 1, money laundering. And this was December 20th of 2022. So it's pretty much the same thing for money laundering. Then they got money laundering as the allegation set forth in paragraph 1 of counts 1 and 2 of this indictment. I'm not understanding this controlled substance part. I don't know if that was a typo. I don't know what it is, but y'all see it. I just read what was there. That's what they say over here. So maybe that's just one of the activities in here because all of this stuff seemed like money type, like just a money laundering. But anyway, we have count 4 is money laundering as the allegation set forth in paragraph 1. That's the defendant with the intent to conceal and disguise the nature, location, source, ownership, and control of property believed to be the proceeds of specified unlawful activity, did knowingly conduct an attempt to conduct a financial transaction affecting interstate and foreign commerce involving property represented by a person acting at the direction of a law enforcement officer to be the proceeds of specified unlawful activity, namely the manufacture, importation, and distribution of a controlled substance. Oh, okay. This just took a turn. Oh, okay. Silverback said Bernie Madoff was the best to ever do it. Danielle said his victims have received almost all of their money back now. Apparently, that's from Danielle. Silverback said, oh, Bernie Madoff's collapse due to the 2008 housing market cap. K. Bree said people are too lazy to research and learn. In 2025, I can't blame the scammers. There is too much info to learn about these scams. It may be a lot of info, and I see what you're saying that you have to do your due diligence and research. But I think to intellectually analyze it, there is no justification. They're basically saying he committed a crime, and you're kind of saying, well, you shouldn't have been dumb enough to fall for the crime. That's kind of what you're saying by that comment. Do I agree that you should do your own due diligence, be skeptical, and question everything? We don't know what they did in order to do their research. They may have something may have triggered for them to say it's cool. We don't know. We just know that this happened. So we can't just automatically assume they was like, oh, okay. They probably had the vouching of he seemed credible. Then maybe they did their own research, or some people that said they made money. I know DJ Envy said he made money. He said he didn't have these type of situations at first on a video I saw. I think he eventually kind of altered that, of which he said he kind of got scammed too. If I remember correctly, go back to the other video. If I'm wrong, you can correct me. It's been 2 years, but I'm going to attach it to the end so you guys can watch that video as well. He has a long criminal. So you saying they should have did a criminal background, and you believe everybody that has a criminal background that they gonna continue to do crimes? Is that what you're saying? You know what, a lady 747, you are funny. Happy Monday, Kelly. Good to see you. You said they trying to RICO them with those substance charges. I don't know. Them substance charges kind of threw me off. I was like, controlled substance. Is there another name for it? So I'm going to read it again. It said, with the intent to conceal and disguise the nature, location, source, ownership, and control of property believed to be the proceeds of specified unlawful activity, did knowingly conduct an attempt to conduct a financial transaction affecting interstate and foreign commerce involving property represented by a person acting at the direction of a law enforcement officer to be the proceeds of specified unlawful activity, namely the manufacture, importation, and distribution of a controlled substance. What? They got another money laundering. They add the allegations from paragraph 1, and then they say that the defendant, and this is count 5, with the intent to conceal and disguise the nature, location, source, ownership, basically the same thing that we just read before, and it's in count 5. Okay. Count 6, bribery of an agent of a program receiving federal funds. Is this 666? Yep. I'm like, I had a client with that case. 666. And I was like, this is the devil statute, because the way it was so broad and encumbrances, I was like, oh man. At all times relevant to this indictment, Taylor 5 Apartment LLC was a New Jersey limited liability company that Pina controlled. Individual 2 resided in New Jersey and was a local official of the city of Patterson. So it's some officials up in here apparently. Individual 3 resided in New Jersey and worked as Pina's office assistant. The Patterson Zoning Board of Adjustments reviewed and approved applications for variances to zoning ordinance in the city of Patterson. The ZBA was composed of 7 voting members and 2 alternates who were such appointed by a member of the Patterson City Council. The city of Patterson received benefit in excess of $10,000 in the relevant one-year period within the meaning of Title 18 U.S.C. 666 D5 under federal programs involving a grant contract, subsidy loan, guarantee, insurance, and other forms of federal assistance to include funds from programs administered by the Community Planning and Development Division of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, whose purposes were, among other things, to develop viable urban communities by providing decent housing and a suitable living environment by expanding economic opportunities. This is the alleged bribery scheme. From in or about 2019 through in or about 2022 in Passaic County in the District of New Jersey and elsewhere, the defendant did knowingly, corruptly, and with the assistance of others give, offer, and agree to give individuals to cash payments and other things of value in the amount of $5,000 and more, intending to influence individual to in connection with a business transaction and series of transactions of the city of Patterson involving a thing of value of $5,000 or more as set forth below. They saying he done bribed an official allegedly. Bribe payments to individual 2 from in or around 2019 to in or around 2022. Pina gave a stream of concealed and undisclosed bribes to individual 2 in exchange for individuals 2's contemplated official action, assistance, and influence to advance Pina's real estate development projects in the city of Patterson, to include exerting influence over other Patterson public officials, such as certain ZBA members, to vote in favor of variances related to 385-391 Tottawa Avenue in Patterson, New Jersey, aka Old School 5. An Old School Pina controlled and intended to develop into a multi-unit residential complex. Now, I wonder, when it comes to 666 as a person that has had to do one of these cases, when it comes to 666, I'm wondering if he had a relationship with the person or a friendship with this person, because what they will do is, you can literally have a friendship with a person, but if you're in a official capacity of which you can benefit them, even if you believe in the vote for them, if you believe in what they're saying, if you believe that they deserve whatever that you're voting on, they will say, like, they'll go and say, well, you went to their birthday party and it was $200 that you gave them. They will make they can make different transactions that may have really been friendly. They can create an inference that the person was only friendly to you regardless of your relationship because they needed something from you. It's a very, very broad statute. It's very interesting and crazy. Mom's the boss. Thank you for being a member for 15 months. I appreciate that. You said DJ Envy, please hit the like button. Yes, DJ Envy, hit the like button. The people saying they don't think you know. I think Envy is individual 1, but he needs to be locked up 2. Shout out to Tony, the closer for explaining. Well, I was DJ Envy. I was gonna say you got some supporters in here, but apparently you got some opposers too. We're equal opportunists over here, okay? So yeah. So yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, yeah, it's been 2 years. And I literally 2 weeks ago, like I said, his wife, Cesar's wife, was indicted in June. And I haven't read the entirety of it, but if you were here at the beginning of the live, I did tell you what the first part said, because that's about all that I, screenshot and read. But yeah. Thank you so much, Attorney Mama. I appreciate that. She said, I'm from Patterson, so I'm familiar with the case. Thank you for covering this case. Very, very interesting. Thank you so much for coming over here and supporting Attorney Mama. I appreciate it. Okay, so now we got the bribe payments, the alleged bribe payments. So, as part of the scheme, Pina gave a stream of cash payments, checks, campaign contributions that'll do it for you, and other benefits and things of value to individual two in exchange for individuals to official action, assistance, and influence in favor of Pina's real estate projects, to include Old School 5. The stream of bribes Pina paid to individual two included multiple cash and check payments totaling approximately $50,000, which individual two received directly from Pina or from individual three at Pina's direction. Remember, individual three is supposed to be an assistant that works in the office for Pina. In addition to directly paying bribes to individual two in cash or check form, as part of the bribery scheme, Pina funneled financial benefits to individual two by providing real estate listings to individual two, who is a licensed realtor. As a result, individual two stood to earn and did earn real estate commissions from the sale of Pina's properties. So he was also a realtor. Whoever was on the board was a realtor, an official. Oh, man. Individuals tools contemplated official actions, assistance, and influence in favor of Pina's Old School 5 project. In and around 2018, Pina, through his entity 383-391 Tottawa Avenue, purchased an Old School 5 property. In or around 2019, Pina, through Taylor 5 Apartments, submitted variances applications to the ZBA relating to his plans to develop Old School 5 into a 60-unit residential complex. I think we saw a video of that one where he was turning something into a big unit complex and people were investing in it or something, if I recall. It's been 2 years, y'all. I'm gonna have to look at my own video. As part of the bribery scheme, Pina saw individuals two's assistant to obtain ZBA approval for Pina's Old School 5 applications. An individual two agreed to provide such assistance on at least 2 ways. Number one, by agreeing to exert official influence over the ZBA scheduling in order to include Pina's Old School 5 application in the ZBA's hearing agenda. And two, by agreeing to exert official influence over members of the ZBA to vote in favor of Pina's Old School 5 application. After Pina filed his Old School 5 variance application with the ZBA, Pina provided at least 2 cash payments of approximately $2,500 each to individual two, including at least 1 such payment made by individual three at Pina's direction in or around October 2020 in exchange for individual two's agreement to get the application on the ZBA's agenda and secure sufficient votes for members of the ZBA to approve Pina's Old School 5 applications. For instance, the ZBA included Pina's Old School 5 application in its agenda for a meeting that was scheduled to take place in or around October 2020, but the applications were ultimately not heard at that time. So he's saying he turned in the application, but it was supposed to be heard maybe either before or his application wasn't on time. So maybe they moved the agenda date so then he could be a part of the negotiations. Now, I've heard this all before. Very similar. And what they will say is, even if it's just like, well, yeah, I'll hold off on the meeting, that's considered in their eyes of the government a favor, regardless of whether anything came about it, whether you really even had authority to do anything, whether you saying, your vote don't even matter. It don't matter. They say like, oh, you moved the date. Oh, okay. That's what the government elect. The statute is very, very broad. I don't necessarily agree with the statute like that because I think it's kind of bold in some, senses, but this is an area of which they will say that it was a part of the statute 666, aka I call it the devil statute. Because it was basically implemented to get people that were not necessarily public officials. So a lot of statutes will get enacted because they didn't have a statute to cover. So if you were a person that's not an elected official, there are a lot of statutes related to elected officials. Then they had people that had official capacities that had power to exert influence because of their position, and they didn't have nowhere to put them. So they made hence statute like this in order to kind of be the catch-all for people that had influence. Thereafter, Pina saw individual two's assistance in getting the applications back on the ZBA's agenda. An individual two agreed to exert influence over ZBA's scheduling to obtain a new date for Pina's application to be heard by the ZBA and secure votes from ZBA members in favor of the applications. In exchange for individual two's agreement to get the old school 5 application back on the ZBA's calendar and secure votes in favor of their passage in or around December 2020, Pina directed individual 3 to make a cash payment to individual 2. Remember, individual 3 is allegedly his assistant, Pina's assistant, and individual 2 is allegedly this official. So apparently the cash payment, some of them came from his assistant. Now I've seen cases like that too, of which the assistant came to pick up some money, and then they don't end up necessarily being a part of it because they may not even know what it was for, what it was. You just doing what they asked you to do, what your boss asked you to do. But I'm pretty sure all of these people, all these individuals can talk to the feds at some point. On or about March 3rd, 2021, individual 2 texted Pina, quote, "You're on the agenda for March 11th on the board." Pina's old school 5 project was included in the publicly available agenda for the ZBA March 11, 2021 hearing, but the applications were not approved at that time. I have never heard music over here. This is just crazy. They must just like y'all because this is crazy. In or around February 2022, individual 2 acting in his capacity as realtor represented Pina on a. Hold on, I might have to leave out of here because I've never. Like, what is this? It probably is going to be. Probably is going to be. Okay, I'm about to go in the house right quick, y'all, because I don't think they're going to be quiet. Hold on, guys. I'm coming. I'm coming. You still can kind of hear it, but it's not as bad as it was. I'm just trying to get through this. Sorry, guys. Sorry. But yeah, it was getting louder and louder. Apparently, they're trying to see how their bass is. Yeah. So anyway, now I gotta catch my breath because I had to run upstairs. In or around February 2022, individual 2 acting in his capacity as realtor represented Pina in the sale of a Patterson, New Jersey property. So he also was representing him allegedly in these properties. Okay, and that was in Patterson, New Jersey. And that was owned through the entity from start to flipping. Pina retained individual 2 as his realtor. So the individual 2 will receive a real estate commission as part of the stream of bribes Pina paid to individual 2 in exchange for individual 2 agreeing to exert official influence in favor of Pina's real estate transaction. On or about March 17th, let me see if I can make this. On or about March 17, 2022, individual 2 deposited a check for approximately $18,132, representing the commission paid to individual 2 for the sale of Pina property. This is crazy. Whew, I'm all shiny. Sweating like a mug. Whew. Sorry, y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. I'll try to be a bit more professional, but it just didn't work out today. On or about August 4, 2022, the ZBA was scheduled to hear Pina's Old School 5 applications. Approximately 1 week before that meeting, individual 2 texted Pina, quote, already spoke with Mr. Chairman about your appointment. Oh, man. In the same text message, individual 2 referenced one of Pina's properties for which Pina had retained individual 2 as his realtor and for which individual 2 stood to earn a real estate commission. Individual 2 called the chairman of the ZBA later that day. To date, Pina's Old School 5 applications have appeared on various agendas of the ZBA, which was heard and considered the application, but has not yet approved them. So they heard it and it wasn't even approved anyway. You went through all this and it still wasn't approved. This is the forfeiture upon conviction of the offense charge in counts 1, 2, and 6 of this indictment. You shall forfeit to the United States pursuant to Title 18 U.S.C. Section 981 sub A sub 1 sub C and Title 28 United States Code Section 2461 sub C. Any property, real or personal, which constitutes or is derived from proceeds traceable to the commission of such offenses, aka we about to take all your stuff, flipping NJ, if you are convicted. Forfeiture allegation 2, upon conviction of the offenses charged in count 3, 4, and 5 of this indictment, you shall forfeit to the U.S. pursuant to Title 18 U.S.C. 982 sub A sub 1 any property, real or personal, involved in such offenses or any property traceable to such property. Substitute asset provision. This is usually in all of them because don't think you about to go put it in your nana's name. Okay, don't think you about to put it in Pop-Pop's name. Because if they find that's what you're trying to do to evade, we going to take that too. So if any of the above described forfeitable property as a result of any act or omission of the defendant, sub A, cannot be located upon the exercise of due diligence, sub B, has been transferred or sold to or deposited with the third party. Don't be giving, that ain't going to work. Sub C, has been placed beyond the jurisdiction of the court. Don't be trying to put that over in the Cayman Islands. Don't do no offshore accounts. D, has been substantially diminished in value. Don't be going up in them properties trying to tear them up. Trying to put paint on the walls. Like if I ain't going to get the house, you ain't going to get the house. Has been commingled with other property which cannot be subdivided without difficulty. So that basically means like you decide to do it with, get some big property with your kids. And it's so intertwined that maybe we can't separate what your percentage or whatever is. It is the intent of the United States pursuant to Title 21, USC 853 sub P, as incorporated by Title 18, USC 982 sub B sub 1 and Title 28, USC 2461 sub C, to seek forfeiture of any other property of the defendant up to the value of the above forfeitable property. So if you want to try to do this up here, we're going to find some other way and we'll find the value that may not even be this property. You might have got this when you was 21 and you wasn't even doing real estate. But if you decide you're going to start transferring property, we're going to find property that may not be a part of the proceeds here. That may not be a part of what you're saying. We're saying is the fraud here, or the wire fraud, or money laundering, or whatever. It might not even be that. We're gonna take that. We're gonna take that toll to get the value of it. So that's pretty much what they're saying. And there's that. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Hey, Rich Auntie, good to see you. Dr. Jonathan said, good day, good to see you. Tracy said it sounds like a real estate Rico. You said, for always forever said, I can hear DJ Envy cursing him out because she doesn't like him like that anyway. This is, you know what? You talking about his wife? All right. Did I miss anything? Did I miss anybody? No, I don't think so. Let me see. Yeah. And how far are we away? Let me see how far we away from my dad getting his 1,000. We need 15 of y'all to go over there. Who is over here with the link? 15 of y'all to go over there to my dad's channel. And I'm going to need y'all to subscribe, okay? Just 15 of y'all. That's all we need to get him to 1,000. So if 15 of y'all would do your girl a favor. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much. Do me a favor and go over there and hit that like button and subscribe. Well, watch the video I just did. We'll probably be back on doing another video on a similar topic. But, ooh, I look real shiny. I need to get off of here, child. That sun was glistening. If y'all can go over there and do me that favor. I don't even have a link. Let me see if I can find the link. Let me see. Thank you, Lisa, for subscribing. Yeah, we just trying to get him there. Somebody said, well, why you got to help him? Because he's my dad and I want to help him. That's the question. That's the answer to your question for anybody to ask that. If you can go subscribe, get the 15, he need 15 more people, and then we'll be wrapping that 1,000 up. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. You said 15 players. You know what, DMV Scorpion. Thank you, Ash Bash. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Alex says, so many people lose money investing with the wrong people. I hope people take away the lesson. The research house thing should work before investing with anyone. Sad. So what do you guys think? Do y'all think? So based on what someone named Mrs. Jones says, of course, we don't know who none of these people are. Everybody comes in and be who you want to be on YouTube. But according to them, they went to the seminars. It was $99 and it was worth it. None of this thing, even though they mentioned the seminars in the beginning, I don't see the correlation between the seminars as of now, unless there were these people met him at the seminars. Now I can see them meeting him based on his relationship with DJ Envy, because they were all over the internet and he talked about it on his platform on the Breakfast Club. So I can totally see people learning about him through them. But this sounds like people that actually, they're not talking about seminars. They're talking about hard-earned money that they said, oh yeah, I want to invest, I want to make money. And again, I do remember, DJ Envy, like they had different videos and stuff for them almost going to get their renters checks and stuff from people that was renting. DJ Envy has kind of, once he got in trouble, because yeah, Tony the Closer was the one on his neck. He's the one that brought it out. Tony the Closer actually sued. Got sued for defamation, I think, by Cesar and DJ Envy. I think they sued him. But it was a big thing for a minute, and we were one of the first ones to cover it when there was an indictment. Well, it wasn't an indictment from Cesar. It was actually just a complaint with an agent swearing to the complaint. But now on the same exact case, they have issued an indictment, and it's still on that same case. So it doesn't say he was arraigned. He already has an attorney because he was already in criminal court. So he already has an attorney. And now his attorney got a whole lot more to deal with than what it was before. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, the link is in the chat, Kathy. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And then I may come on tonight because I had something on. We need 5 more people, y'all. 5 more people. to go over there and subscribe to the channel. We're going to get 1,000. Y'all intellects are the ones that, got him going over there. And I appreciate y'all so very much. I have an update. I was going through my list of all the cases of which I started, and then they kind of was taking so long. Like this one with Cesar, it was taking so long. Then I heard about it, his wife a couple of weeks ago, but then it wasn't moving like that. They kept delaying the speedy trial, and it wasn't like Diddy. Diddy was moving. He was trying to, they kept him in jail. Diddy said, no, I'm gonna need to go to trial like tomorrow. I don't care if y'all got thousands and thousands of terabytes. I don't care. I need to go tomorrow. So that was different. We was able to just, every week, probably since he was arrested in September, we were talking about him. But when it comes to Cesar, but yeah. So anyway, there was an incident with, y'all remember the incident with Christian Rock and James Wright Chanel, the Patty Pie guy? I'll talk about that. I have a second channel too. And I try to talk about things that are kind of, a little ghetto-ish more on that channel. We call it like the law offices, the hood and ghetto. So I did talk about that video over there when I first started the channel, because it was something that was going on. And it's a different demographic because I don't really follow Christian. So it was like, okay. I remember the Patty Pie situation with Patty LaBelle and James Wright Chanel doing the whole Patty, that kind of got him on the map. But yeah, there was a lawsuit with them, and I talked about that before. So I do have an update on their case too. That'll probably be a shorter video that I'm going to talk about. But yeah. And we'll see whatever else comes on, comes out between now and then. But for now, I hope this held y'all over for your lunchtime. And I'm going to go grab some food and stuff. I don't know about their relation. I like Nicole. I follow her. But I don't know about, all I heard about, I did hear about some cheating. I think he admitted to that, Tony the closer. But as far as their relationship, I don't know him. I don't know her. I don't think she really talked about it like that, at least not on public platform that I saw. Maybe she talked about it. She does a lot of things with her business. I think she's a very sweet girl. Maybe she talked about it then, but if she did, I don't know. So I have no information about that. But yeah, Tony, thank you, Lisa, for the Cash App. I appreciate it, sis. But like when it comes to Tony, he was one of the exposing, and that's why people were they was kind of going at him recently too, and he got mad and clapped back because they was like, how you going after people you're saying are scammers? And somebody in the chat was like, but you had what you did to Nicole. So a lot of people kind of like Nicole, so I think they still be windmilling for her, and I think he was trying to get her back. But she just seemed really unbothered with the whole situation. So I am without sufficient information to tell y'all yay or nay. So yeah. I have a second channel. So we got to the 1K. Thank y'all so much. Thank you. Yeah, I have a second channel, Terry. I only talk on it like twice a year. But you'll be laughing. It's everybody say they like my impersonations and stuff, and I've done some things over there that people already question whether I'm a lawyer or not based on how I present things and just giving my personality. And so I did a second channel. First of all, I did a second channel because you should always have a backup, because you have haters out here that will try to jack your channel up, and I always want to have a backup. And so I have some videos over there as well for those of you that don't know. So yeah. Thank you. Make sure y'all subscribe to my second channel too. Subscribe over here if you have not done so already. We're trying to get to 40K over here. And so, yeah. Kelly, thank you so much for always supporting, sis. I appreciate it. You said you love the second channel. If they come with topics, like email me, then I will go back over there. But yeah, most of the stuff is just random on my second channel. It's just like my thought on what's going on YouTube. And then I kind of just acted it out. But it started out kind of, you got that background of the whole Ernesto Ernest Williams, Shirley Strawberry situation. I have a lot of videos on that. That was a big topic on my channel. We still cover them as well. I think he has a hearing coming up in a few weeks. The link to the second channel, it's in my description. Let me see. I think, is it in my description? No, that's my membership in my description. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Hold on, y'all. Before you get off, give me 1 minute. I'm gonna have to start putting it in my description as well, because I keep forgetting. Hold on. So this is the name of it right here. Yeah, so there's the second channel. So y'all go over there and do that for me. You said Little Miss Nomad is there. Call me, darling. I'm not. Did you call her Little Miss Nomad? Call me, darling. Y'all are funny to me. I can't do it. They've changed. Yeah, I look all golden. Get off of here. Oh, sweating. I need to go get in the pool. Yeah, right. Exactly. No, that's my dad's smoke detector. All right, y'all. I'm out. I'm going to talk to y'all later. You guys have a great day. Thank you again for helping my father reach 1,000K. 1,000 subscribers. You know, I'm going to post that probably on his that he's, you know, reached the goal. Now make sure you go over there and you actually watch that video I did. And I think sometime this week we'll do another video on similar topics, because I made it into a series with me on it. So I'll be on there as well. Or if you want to go over there and just get some inspiration, he's into the word over there, you know, read the Bible, the biblications, and all of that over there. But, you know, I come over there every now and then and I act like me. Okay. And I connect me with the church world, which is probably how a lot of us are. So that's what I do over there when I go. But anyway, you guys have a good day. Enjoy your lunch. I'll talk to y'all later.